Hey, have you heard? Apple just released the new 10.8 update for Final Cut Pro. Is it all hype? Is it hot? Is it not? I'm Dylan John, and let's quickly go over what features you have in this new update. Let's start with a feature that takes your footage and uses AI to intelligently blend the frames of your shot together to achieve slow motion. Here's what I mean. I filmed this shot in 24 frames a second, so not slow motion. If I try to slow it down to 25%, we get this really choppy mess. If I use the optical flow feature in Final Cut, which is supposed to blend frames together to achieve more of a slow-mo look, it's better, but there's a lot of choppiness and ghosting happening. It doesn't look good. However, if we use this machine learning option, we get a shot that is really passable for slow motion footage. So essentially, we went from this to this. Also, you don't always have to go to video quality to change this new setting. Instead of slowing down here, just go to the new smooth slow-mo option and it will add that AI slow-mo automatically. So because this now gives Final Cut users the option to turn your normal frame rate footage into slow motion, and because it does a surprisingly fantastic job, this gets a flaming hot rating.
Smoking hot.
Up next, we have the new Enhance Light and Color feature. You can access it by hitting your little Houdini wand here and clicking Enhance Light and Color. And it will do its best to add what it thinks is the appropriate exposure, contrast, saturation, and color balance to your shot. Then if you want, you can hop in your inspector window, go to the color adjustments correction that it added, and fine-tune the shot even more. However, this is not a color grading tool. It is a light color correction adjustment, and it definitely doesn't replace knowing how to color correct your shot yourself. For example, in this shot, the original footage had his skin an inaccurate color, and with the enhanced light and color feature added, his skin is still not an accurate color. Here's another example of the color balancing being a bit off when using this feature. However, I have noticed in my tests that it does do a good job of adjusting the exposure of your shot so your subject's skin is an accurate exposure. So this could be a great way for you to add a quick touch-up to your shot to make it look slightly better, but because it doesn't do that great of a job in my opinion, it gets a room temperature rating.
Room temperature.
The next feature in this update is the ability to rename color adjustment layers in your inspector window. You can double-click and rename it, or you can hit the drop-down menu and hit rename. But wait, there's more! It's not just color layers, it's any effect that's in your inspector window. So for example, in this shot I added Beauty Box, which is a skin smoothing plugin. So to make these layers easily recognizable, I could rename them, and now we know exactly what's going on. This is one reason why I love the plugin Color Finale 2 Pro, so the fact that it is native in FCP is awesome. I mean, look at all of these layers in this older color grading tutorial of mine. If I could have renamed all of these different color layers, it would be so much easier knowing which adjustment does what. This gets a hot rating from me. It is long overdue. Up next, we have this little button right here, which makes it so you can toggle the scrolling timeline feature that we got last update on and off. And if you don't know what the scrolling timeline is, basically when you play your timeline, it will follow the playhead down your timeline. And if you don't want it to do that, you can just click the button again. Before 10.8, you had to go into your preferences to turn this on and off. So the button is not a huge change, but it does make it easier, which is nice. This is neither hot nor cold for me.
Room temperature.
Next, we have better search capabilities that you can use in your index and in your browser. So in your index, if you hit this magnifying glass, you can now search for media on your timeline based on some new parameters. If you wanted to find all of the clips that you retimed, you can do that. If you wanted to search for media that has video and audio effects added, you have that option. And perhaps the best option, have you ever tried to export a project and you get this error window? Now you don't have to scroll through your timeline to find the issue. You can use your index and hit missing media and missing effects, and it'll show the exact media that's missing. With the library browser feature, you can go to your search bar, hit the filter button, and we can now filter what media we want to see on an even deeper level. So for example, I know that in this library there's a bunch of clips shot on a Leica camera. Those clips all start with L. We'll make sure this is on starts with, and once we type that in, we'll only be shown the media that starts with L, so we can quickly find what we need for our project. The organization and search features in Final Cut are definitely better than other editing softwares, and this made it a tad bit better. Is it an exciting change? No, but it will help out on bigger projects, so it gets a lukewarm rating. Lastly, we have a feature that is completely bonkers. So take this clip. I have all the color adjustments I want on it, and I know that the next 4 shots in this sequence should also have all the same color adjustments. In the past, if I wanted to add effects to other clips, you'd have to press Command-C on the clip to copy those effects, select the other clips, hit Shift-Command-V to bring up the Paste Attributes window, you'd select what you want to transfer over, and hit Paste. Some people like using adjustment layers when color grading so they don't have to do this, which I'm not a fan of for a number of reasons, but now this new feature makes transferring effects so simple. So all you have to do is select what effects you want to be transferred over to those other clips and drag them to those new clips. And that is it. It is a huge time saver. There is another route you can take to do this, but I've been having some serious issues with this method. So if your playhead is over another clip, but your inspector window still has the effects of that selected clip up, you're supposed to be able to drag directly to the viewport that's showing that other clip, but for some reason it is adding the adjustments to the music track underneath. I'm not sure why this is happening, however I likely wouldn't be going with this method anyways, so it's not a big deal for me. This feature is personally going to save me so much time, and it'll just make our lives easier when editing and transferring effects, so this gets a flaming hot rating. What did you guys think of the new 10.8 update? Is it hot? Is it not, in your opinion? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe for more Final Cut Pro content. Have a great rest of your day, guys.